often.
Well, no doubt about it. You talk about the big three. You talk about Garnett, Pierce, and Allen. The reason why this team has been successful, but the reason why they are here, Game 7 heroics of Paul Pierce. Put the team on his back, and offensive explosion has to continue it, but it was the old guy.
Meanwhile, for the Pistons, it's all about team. It's always been about team, and at both ends of the floor, this team's so well balanced, Jeff.
Well, think about it. 6 straight conference finals without a Hall of Fame player on their roster. It's a testament to their work, to their unity, and to their sacrifice. I give those 4 guys a lot of credit. They've won, and they've won big. And to me, they're the best team left of the 4.
And they're well rested after knocking off Orlando in the second round. They haven't played in a week. Meanwhile, the Celtics will have an emotional 7-game series against the Cavs. So right now, let's check in with Michelle Tafoya. Hey, Michelle.
Well, hey, Mike. As you know, Chauncey Billups is returning to action tonight for the first time since injuring his hamstring in the Pistons series against Orlando. It was early in Game 3 of that semifinal series that Billups slid and pulled his right hamstring. Now, reportedly, the injury isn't affecting his lateral motion as much as his straight-ahead motion, and he likes to go to his left, which means his push-off leg is his right, and that's the injured one. Now, Billups has practiced normally the last 3 days, and after this morning's shoot-around, he said, as far as being the best I can be, I don't know if I can do that. I just want to be good enough to play, and hopefully I can be productive. Mike?
Well, Michelle, he hasn't played in an actual game in almost 2 weeks. Mark, does that have a big effect?
I don't think it does, as long as he got his reps in as far as practice is concerned. If you are able to practice and have some one-on-one battles and also 5-on-5, he could very well be ready.
Again, the Celtics perfect at home. So much made about being winless on the road, but they're 8-0 in this building. Detroit, meanwhile, has won a couple of road games already in the postseason. They're 3-2 away from home. And this is the way it was supposed to be. With all due respect to the other Eastern Conference teams, these were the 2 teams that expected to meet in these conference finals. And this matchup, Jeff, of Rondo and Billups, although Hamilton picks him up here, is going to be a critical one for this series.
And they're going to have Hamilton play Rondo, so he's a better help defender than Chauncey Billups is.
And the man who just took that first shot, Ray Allen, a perennial all-star, one of the best shooters in the NBA, has really been struggling, especially in that last series. Mark, how important is it for him to get going early?
Well, he's been struggling, no question about it, but he's going to get looks in this series. Pistons do not blitz him coming off of down screens, all pick and rolls, so he's going to have to start knocking those shots down.
Tayshaun Prince misses his first shot, and here comes Rondo, the second-year guard out of Kentucky, who's a starter on a championship-caliber team, has had his ups and downs in the playoffs, like most young players. Perkins to Garnett. Garnett, first shot of the game. Well, Billups' strength, he really gave Rondo and the Celtics problems during the regular season. Although Boston won 2 out of the 3 games, both won a game on the road during that regular season, which of course means absolutely nothing. McDyess misses the shot.
Oh, a concern about Billups. Doc Rivers touched on it. The guy can get a shot anytime he wants, and he is the guy that they want to watch going down the stretch of the ball.
Garnett, 2 for 2 to start.
See, I love that move by Garnett. No hesitation to attack a premier defender in Rasheed Wallace, spinning off of his body. Very strong move.
What a difference. You talk about the Cleveland big guys. They beat Garnett up on the block. He's not going to face that type defense in this series.
Billups gets away from Rondo nicely, setting up Hamilton. Hamilton, an air ball. Pierce lost it. And they're going to say Celtic ball, last touch by Pierce.
And this is the aggression the Celtics need out of Garnett. No hesitation, drives middle, spins back, and then, like Rasheed Wallace, has such a high release, it's very difficult to affect his jump shot.
Allen, who has not been able to get a lot of good scoring opportunities, short that time. All right, how about what's been talked about last couple of days in terms of rest or rhythm? Which is better? The Pistons have been able to rest for a week now. The Celtics more in rhythm. Jeff, do you think it goes either way?
I would much rather have the rest, even if that rest costs you a little bit in the first quarter of the first game. I'll always take the less amount of games.
Offensive foul on Tayshaun Prince. Ray Allen, we've said he hasn't been scoring and shooting, but he's been doing other things, and he picks up a charge there.
Well, that's what you want to do. If you're struggling in one area, continue to play every facet of the ball game. And just to echo Coach, I agree with the rest factor. When you talk about these two teams, veteran basketball teams that understand what they have to do.
Allen has had some looks early. Pierce. He put on a show on Sunday with the 41 points, an array of moves. He's just happy that LeBron James isn't guarding him, and he doesn't have to guard LeBron James, with all due respect to the Pistons.
I love the way that the Celtics are starting this basketball game on offense. Everybody's getting touches, ball movement, and man movement, putting it in the hands of the playmakers. Last possession, it was Paul Pierce on the block. Easy, solid offense. He's being fronted, very patient, hits the fadeaway jump.
That last foul on Rondo, Pierce told us he's had about 6 massages, 6 or 7 hot tubs in the past 48 hours since that game on Sunday. Said his body was sore.
Man, that sounds like the life. 6 massages, 6.
Don't get any ideas. Wallace misses, quick outlet. Pistons 0 for 4 to start. A couple of UConn buddies on each other there with Allen and Rip Hamilton. Rondo to the basket, won't go. Perkins, the offensive board. They want to get Allen going. Ray Allen to the basket.
And when you're struggling, that's how you get it going. Turn down a jump shot and be aggressive. Ray Allen does that, gets all the way to the cup.
And we're going to hear our first big roar as the Pistons call timeout.
Talk about high IQ. I'm struggling from the field. Turn down a jump shot. Have the patience to put the pressure on the defense. Allen does that. It doesn't get any easier than a layup.
And Detroit, 3.5 minutes into it, still without a point. 0 for 4 from the field. Celtics open a game with 8 straight. Celtics have jumped out to the quick 8-0 lead here in their first conference final since 2002. Now, how they got here is the subject of much debate. Yes, they had the best record during the regular season. It's the greatest turnaround in the history of the NBA for one season. But then all of a sudden, they struggle in the first round, losing all 3 road games and need 7 to eliminate the Hawks. Same scenario in the second round against a good Cavs team, needing 7 games. So in some ways here in the city, the expectations have changed a little bit because they struggled so much. But does that have any effect right now once they're in the conference finals, guys?
Well, I think for the fans it does. I think they, like you said, the expectations have been lowered. But I think, people make too much about history. It's about what happens now, winning the first quarter of the first game.
Chauncey Billups with the first points for the Pistons.
I also think the pressure's off. You played against 2 teams that had no business beating. You took care of business against Atlanta and also against Cleveland in Game 7. Now you're playing against the Detroit Pistons. You're equal.
And they played that way in the first 2 series, especially on the road, as Garnett hits. They played a little tight down the stretch of games, and now perhaps we might see a more relaxed Celtic team.
Well, we're seeing it to start this ball game on the offensive end and on the defensive end. They are locked in.
Tayshaun Prince, who has had some superb playoff games at both ends of the floor, one of the most underrated players in the NBA. He's going to have to guard Pierce, certainly a tough matchup. Shot clock at 2, Billups spinning. And Garnett the rebound. Celtics say they'll look to push at every opportunity. Allen for 3. Wow, way off. As his struggles from outside continue. I mean, he's one of the best shooters in the game. Maybe the best pure shooter right now in the NBA, and there are some shots he's not even close.
Well, he's taken out of discussion. He's not the best pure shooter in the NBA when you struggle like this. He has to develop his confidence once again. He's a shot maker. In order for this team to be successful, he's going to have to find his rhythm offensively.
And he went at Rondo, I think, today in the paper, and it wasn't right. He put the part of the blame on Rondo for not getting enough shots, and I think Ray Allen's got to own his own struggle. Rondo did a great job here of finding him and searching him out in transition. That's on him.
Well, my thing, this guy's a great shooter that's struggling, and he's not getting tough looks. His last couple of looks were dead-on looks at the rim.
Garnett, not that time, and Perkins with his 5th rebound already as Pierce gets inside, misses the layup. Perkins had one of his best games of the season against Detroit during the regular year when he had 10 points and 20 rebounds in a game here in March on this floor. Prince with Perkins on him in the transition D, knocks it down.
And that's a shot of your Doc Rivers you don't mind. Perkins played Tayshaun Prince, kept him in front, did not allow him to get to the rim, and then contested the jump shot. That's solid defense by Perkins.
Expect a low-scoring series. Shouldn't be a lot of points. These were the 2 best defensive teams in the East and maybe the NBA. Rondo kicks it out. Pierce, nice fake to get rid of Prince to the basket.
I'll tell you what, if your flip side is the concern is, hey, they are getting too many easy baskets, uncontested jump shots, and able to break the interior of our defense.
Phillips, nice pass to McDyess, who draws the foul. And Antonio McDyess will shoot a couple. Again, Pierce has to be so happy not having the strong LeBron James on him.
Well, that's a great job by Pierce. It started with the shot fake, and then in the super slow-mo. That's great concentration, left hand. He doesn't have blazing speed, but he's got great strength, great sense of timing, and the ability to have a multifaceted game. Three-pointer, intermediate game, and a game at the basket.
Mark, what everybody talks about with Pierce, and LeBron James mentioned this after the Game 7, and he gave Pierce such kudos for the 41-point game, is his footwork.
Outstanding footwork, able to change directions, able to lull you to sleep as far as looks like he's going to take the jumper, changes directions. Good job of being very deceptive offensively, and that makes him a tough matchup for anyone.
Meanwhile, McDyess, who had a terrific Game 5 clinching win against Orlando with 17 points, he knocks down the 2 free throws. Garnett, aggressive early, shooting over Rasheed Wallace. Pistons during the regular season, one of the better road teams in the NBA at 25-16. They've always been a good road team. Phillips, not that time. McDyess, pretty tip-in.
And the cross matches, meaning Rondo's being guarded by Hamilton. Phillips is guarding Ray Allen. The cross matches are hurting the Celtics in transition, trying to get matched up, leaving people open.
Perkins lost it. Here comes Hamilton. Hamilton, the team's leading scorer, both during the regular season and in the playoffs. McDyess, again, you know, we talk about the other 4 players with Phillips and Hamilton and Wallace and Prince, but McDyess is a former All-NBA third-team player who's healthy again.
Well, a guy that I played with in Denver for half a season was as good as Kevin Garnett and Rasheed Wallace. One of those big-time power forwards that could score.
Garnett short. Rondo couldn't handle a rebound.
And the difference between this Piston team and a couple years ago with Ben Wallace is you have to guard all 5 positions now versus the Pistons, which makes it much more difficult, obviously, on the defense.
And having McDyess is your 5th option. Hamilton shot won't go. Perkins another rebound, already with 6. Ray Allen, Pierce. And both players passing up some open shots.
Well, the confidence of Ray Allen. You catch that ball in transition. That's a stop and pop easy jump shot.
The extra pass. Rondo up and under, won't go. Perkins gathers it. Perkins a demon on the boards. Fans wanting Allen. And again, off the mark, Ray Allen now 1 for 5 from the field.
At the next time out, if I'm Doc Rivers, I'm saying you let those shots go, you turn them down, you come out of the game. Ray Allen, you're paid to shoot the ball. I'll take you out if it's hurting the team. You shoot.
It's amazing how even some of the premier shooters in the game can lose their confidence a little bit as the Celtics will call timeout. Tony McDyess off to a strong start.
The forgotten Pistons starter, a very good 17-foot range jump shooter, and then their best offensive rebounder, good extension, good control of the ball on the tip.
McDyess already with 6 points and 5 rebounds. Now, a little over 3 minutes remaining in the first. Celtics lead has been trimmed to 1. Welcome back to Boston. Celtics by 1 here in the first. Detroit, as we mentioned, their 6th straight conference final. They had another terrific season. Second best record in the NBA behind the Celtics with 59 wins. Then they get in the first round, and they lost game 1 to Philadelphia. Actually lost game 3 by 20, but came back and won the series 4-2. Then they took care of the Magic in 5 games, although it was 5 difficult games. 3 of the 4 victories were close. Guys, they obviously have taken care of business, but they lost games by 20, by 14, and by 25 to Orlando. So they had their ups and downs in the first 2 rounds as well.
Well, they certainly did, but the bottom line is that they are here. They found a way to win ball games. You look at the start in this ball game. This is a veteran basketball team that does not panic, and it starts with their experience and their leadership.
And they don't beat themselves. They turn the ball over at such a low rate. They make their free throws. They do those things that keep you in games and win close games.
They put in the 3rd best regular season of all time in terms of fewest turnovers, the Pistons. Then they struggled in the opening round. They were turning the ball over at an alarming rate and then turned it around again in the second. Flip Saunders teams, whether he coached in Minnesota or here in Detroit, they've always been a team that protects the basketball.
Well, he's an extremely underrated coach. This guy he took a moribund Minnesota franchise and brought it up to near championship level. Then he came here and has kept the tradition going, which was very difficult to do. I give him a lot of credit. One of the top coaches in the NBA.
Of course, he coached Kevin Garnett. First 9.5 years in Minnesota, he was telling us before the game, he's like a son to him. He's happy for his success, but he said he's had enough success already. He wants it to end here as Prince knocks it down. Those two together for so many years in Minnesota. And Detroit with their first lead on this 8-0 run. Substitutions already. You see P.J. Brown setting the screen there. Jason Maxiel has come in for Detroit. Rondo, nice move to the basket. Doc Rivers told Rondo, hey, he has to guard you too, in terms of trying not to get intimidated by having to defend Billups at the other end.
Also, the point being made, hey, force him to defend. He can't just take off on the defensive end.
Turnover, 2-on-1. Allen to the basket. Strong finish. Well, he hasn't hit any jumpers, but he got a couple of good drives to the hoop.
I like the finish. Maxiel trailing, big-time shot blocker. Ray Allen takes it to the rim. Attack mode with the finish.
Hamilton. Here's the rebound. Celtics again look to push. Here's stripped by Billups. It's taken back by Rondo. Nice feed to Allen. Blocked for the goaltend on McDyess. Rondo, a crafty little guard, comes up with a steal and 2 points for Boston.
I really liked how he's played on the offensive end in transition, advancing it up to Ray Allen, advancing it to Pierce, trying to get him early opportunities, and on the defensive end, doing his work pretty well against the pick and roll.
Here's the area where he might have his problems. Big Andy, he's good in terms of steals, but the strength factor with Billups against Rondo is very overwhelming.
It definitely is. And talking to Doc Rivers, he said the one thing he does not want Rondo to do is gamble defensively. He wants him to stay patient, stay in front of Billups, and make him work. Do not let him get on your hip.
Like he just did. He just let him go by him and was fortunate enough not to get called for his second foul and to deflect the ball.
His numbers better in the playoffs, but it's night and day home and road. And there's an impressive young player just came into the game. It's Rodney Stuckey, the rookie from Eastern Washington, who started the 2 games when Billups was out in the Orlando series, and Rondo pokes it away. Stuckey didn't have a turnover in those 2 games, and he turns it over the first time he has it here. Garnett way outside.
I love the aggressiveness of Kevin Garnett to start this game. On the block and also knocking down jumpers.
8 points early for Kevin Garnett. It's been a first quarter of runs. McDyess, he can just flat out shoot. We forget that again because of all the injuries that he went through. He's not the same explosive player, but still a highly skilled player.
So he's a knockdown shooter. You cannot give him uncontested J.
Nice pass. Allen, P.J. Brown, and a foul. The 38-year-old Brown fired up off his Game 7 heroic Sunday.
Believe it or not, if you're Ray Allen, these are the type of plays that could get your jump shot going. This is a big-time play coming off the pick and roll, finding P.J. Brown, slashing to the hoop, gets the basket and the foul.
And I believe they've given Ray Allen more opportunities to get into rhythm tonight, whether it's jump shot plays, dribble handoff plays, to get him in a rhythm, not just shooting rhythm, passing rhythm. He's being more aggressive on the offensive end. His mentality may be partly, but also give Doc Rivers credit for getting him into more good situations.
P.J. Brown misses. Brown, of course, signed as a free agent late in the season after sitting out most of the regular season. Came up huge in the fourth quarter of Game 7, including a big shot, had a number of big rebounds. As we wind down the first quarter, shot clock and game clock nearly identical. McDyess blocked by Brown. 2 on the shot clock. Maxiel puts it in as the shot clock expires. And there's the buzzer ending the first quarter. A good start for the Celtics. They began with the first 8 points of the game. Kevin Garnett very aggressive early. Ray Allen got himself going a little bit. But then the Pistons came back. First quarter complete here in the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics didn't turn it over once in the opening period, and they lead by 5.
So focus.
With the Pistons trailing, Flip Saunders, you guys have been exchanging offensive runs. What has been key to your spurts when your offense is working?
Well, we made some stops, and when we made a couple passes, moved the ball, had some penetration, we've been okay. We haven't played very good. We're lucky to only be down by 5 at this point.
Yeah, down 5. Chauncey Billups getting his first action in a while because of the hamstring. How does he look to you out there?
He looked okay. I think he got tired at the end, had a turnover, didn't make a couple quicker decisions, a little bit fatigued, but we're okay.
Thanks, Flip. Mike?
All right, Michelle. All right, the rust is over. Now they've played a little bit, so we can't talk about that anymore. As Billups getting a seat to start the second period. Overall thoughts on that first quarter, Jeff?
I thought McDyess kept the Pistons in the game, 8.7 rebounds. I didn't think one other guy on the Pistons played up to his level.
And here's Stuckey. Stuckey, part of a Pistons bench that has been a big story for this team this year. Flip Saunders playing the young guys quite a bit. All the veterans claim it's the reason why they're a much better team than the last couple of years. McDyess inside, draws another foul. And he'll go back to the line as Ray Allen picks up his first. Leon Poe is checked in for the first time for Boston as well. So McDyess to the line. And Tony McDyess is now 33. This is his 12th year in the league. He's the one guy that did not win a championship, wasn't with the team back in 2004. He takes losses hard. It was last year during the games against the Cavaliers when they lost in Game 5 against Cleveland in the conference finals. He never bothered to change out of his uniform. He drove home in his car in his uniform afterward. Very emotional player.
Would have hated to be his family. My.
There's Eddie House in the game. House is now back as the backup point guard. Sam Cassell struggled as the Celtics turn it over for the first time. Rip Hamilton hit hard from behind, and he'll shoot a couple.
Well, that's the problem when you use Eddie House as your primary ball handler. The Pistons understand that's one of his weaknesses. They pick up full court, extend you, take you out of what you're trying to run. House
was the backup most of the season until Sam Cassell was signed as a free agent. And Jeff, Doc Rivers has had to shuffle his rotation a little bit in the playoffs. Sometimes it's Big Baby Davis, sometimes Leon Poe, Eddie House and Sam Cassell back and forth. Is that hard to do as a coach?
I think it's very difficult to do. You would rather have your 8 or 9 man rotation set in stone. You trust those 9. You roll with those 9. Doc Rivers hasn't been afforded that opportunity because he's gotten a lot of inconsistent play. I like that P.J. Brown is now his first big man and I like Eddie House in the last series. It'll be interesting to see if he can hold up in this series.
And the reason why, you look at Flip Sanders, immediately inserts Lindsey Hunter into the ball game. A great on-ball defender. Expect him to pick up Eddie House full court.
Hamilton had hit 22 consecutive free throws in the playoffs before that miss. That's his first point of the night. Posey throws it up. Bad shot. Lindsey Hunter getting some early action as well.
And I said to Mark coming out, I just don't like this Boston Celtics grouping right now. They don't have enough offense on the floor with Ray Allen struggling and 4 bench players.
And as you say that, Pierce gets off the bench. And he'll come back in. Ray Allen will sit down. Both teams going to their bench. Celtics perhaps will need to because of the physical grind of the 7-game series.
No. No.
What do you mean no?
No, you're in the Eastern Conference Finals. You're not tired. Play your minutes. Play even bigger minutes. If I was Ray Allen, I'd say, let me play the whole half. I want to get in rhythm.
How about legs being tired?
Don't think I'm going to help you on this argument.
All right. Get ganged up on again.
This is the show. It's no excuses about going out and getting it done.
I'm not going to mention injuries at all. Pierce on the spin. Hamilton wrecked his jersey. Pierce still put it in.
That strength right there, that balance, that's incredible. Driving hard, the balance to be able to spin, balance back up, and go straight up for your jumper. Tremendous move by Pierce.
Here's Hunter. 3 bench players in the game right now for Detroit. Maxiel lines up his shot.
And really with this lineup, you expect the ball to be in the hands of Paul Pierce, even bringing it up the floor.
Pierce on the drive, holds on. Eddie House fires it away. 3-pointer won't go. P.J. Brown, the offensive rebound. Brown playing so energized. 3rd oldest player in the NBA this year. Posey.
Just outstanding reads by Paul Pierce, finding Eddie House in the corner for an open look, and that time Posey turning down the jumper and attacking the paint.
Posey not known for his drives to the basket, gets his first 2 points. Here comes Stuckey. Top shot won't go. Fight for the rebound. Pierce comes away. Bad pass from Pierce, stolen by Hunter. The veteran Lindsey Hunter to Hamilton. Stripped from behind, but a foul on Eddie House. And Rip Hamilton will go to the line once again. House picking up his first.
His first personal 3rd team foul.
Of course, game 2 of the series will be right back here in Boston on Thursday night. Coverage starts 7:30 Eastern. Kia NBA shoot-around. And tip-off shortly after 8:30. Conference Finals, same thing. 2-2-1-1-1 the setup. It's not till the NBA Finals that it goes to 2-3-2. And just to show you the balance of Detroit, Rip Hamilton is the leading scorer during the regular season for the Pistons. Lowest team scoring leader in the NBA. You know where he ranked in the NBA in scoring? 53rd. And he was their leading scorer. It just shows you the balance of this team.
I thought he was 52nd.
Yeah, this guy didn't give us a chance to guess. I was right on top of it.
Leon Poe inside, banks it in. Celtic bench making big plays.
And Dockerman said it was crucial for Poe to have an impact on the ball game as soon as he was inserted. Certainly doing that. Good catch and finish.
Chance of defense. We heard that all game long on Sunday in Game 7 against Cleveland. Rasheed Wallace can't connect. Maxiel can't control, and it's Celtic ball. We'll have a timeout. Paul Pierce trying to pick up where he left off on Sunday.
Well, again, he's got tremendous strength. Here he drives it left, spins back, good balance. And then because of how well he's playing, he's attracting double teams, looks up for it, not pretty, but it got down. And then another play to Posey. Posey drives a baseline and flushes it.
Back in Boston, Celtics by 4, 3.5 remaining in the second quarter. Flip Saunders urging his team on in a recent huddle.
We got to trust the system and trust ourselves. Sometimes we're rushing things, make quick decisions, and if you're going to go into a pick and roll, you got to sprint into it. If you're going to come off, you can't wait coming off. You got to come off hard off things, and we'll be okay off that.
Flip Saunders may have been an NBA coach for 13 years now as a head coach, but he paid his dues. Started as a junior college coach, spent 7 years in the CBA, won a couple of championships in the CBA before getting his opportunity with Minnesota. He's coached at a lot of different levels.
And you see the adjustment made by Flip Saunders, realizing that Paul Pierce was going to handle the ball, puts Lindsey Hunter on him from the beginning.
Eddie House, never afraid to shoot. House could be instant offense off the bench.
That was high basketball IQ by the Celtics. Pierce being guarded by smaller players, go in the post, draw the double team, and then get it to your best pure shooter out of the double team.
Stuckey gets it back, and a foul. Rodney Stuckey on a nice give and go and a chance for a three-point play.
Here they're posting Pierce, coming for a double team. Misread by Stuckey. Very good pull-up jumper by Eddie House.
So down the other end, Stuckey will go to the line. House is going to come out, Rondo back in. So one free throw for Stuckey. 22 years old, played 2 years of college ball at Eastern Washington. He was the 15th overall pick in the draft. The Pistons, that was their guy all along they wanted. They were afraid he wasn't going to be there, but he wound up being there. And they feel he will not only become a good player, they think he can be a star. As we have a foul away from the ball.
The interesting thing we said to Flip Saunders before the game, when did you realize that this kid Stuckey was going to be special? He said when we drafted him. We watched this kid in workouts and knew that he was going to be special. A flat-out scorer. His future is bright because of his ability to pass and score.
He's from just outside of Seattle, was the 6th of 7 kids growing up, and was recruited by some big schools but didn't have the great grades to get into him. Wound up going to Eastern Washington and had a 3.4 GPA. Really worked hard to make it work for him. Only 2 years of college though, and for his family decided to go to the NBA and start earning some money. As the ball knocked out of bounds, Pistons will get it.
Man, I thought you were going at Eastern Washington when you said he didn't have good grades, so he went to Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington's a fine school.
Excellent school. And they're glad to have had him. Trying to get me in trouble.
This guy's on edge tonight.
Yeah, there's a little edge there.
It's the Eastern Conference Finals.
And there's a foul on Rasheed Wallace. Excuse me, not on Wallace. You call it on Garnett. Wallace was smiling at the ref. I thought he was going to get mad.
But being in the penalty this early versus a jump shooting team is very troublesome for the Celtics.
There's Wallace's numbers. See the number from three-point range. He's missed his last 10 from downtown in the Orlando series. As he hits that one. Our NBA calendar. Tomorrow on TNT, the Western Conference Finals begin. Game 1 at the Staples Center. Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs. What a great matchup that'll be. Coverage begins at 9 Eastern. Then Saturday on ABC, Game 3 of this series. It'll be at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Coverage begins at 8. What do you guys think of San Antonio, LA starting up?
We can't say enough about the Spurs. First of all, going into somebody else's house in a Game 7 and taking care of business should be a great Western Conference Final. I give the edge to the Lakers because they've done it all year long.
Pierce has done it all year long. Knocks it in there. And Paul Pierce now with 8 points.
And I thought San Antonio's defense against New Orleans the other night is what separates them and why they've been a championship caliber team for so long. Just a lockdown effort.
That's where the Pistons have been at their strength. Certainly when they won their championship. Wallace hard to the basket. And a primal scream after putting it through. It's back to a 2-point game.
He's at his best when he's not settling on the block. Could have very well turned and shot a jump shot. Instead, put the pressure on KG and attack.
You'll see Lindsey Hunter, the 37-year-old, putting pressure on Rondo. Hunter's in amazing shape. Pierce again, throws it away. And that's the 4th Celtic turnover.
This is what you want from Rasheed Wallace. They're in the bonus, so don't settle. Offensively, gives a target, turns, faces, and this is when he's at his best. Grown man move, attacking the basket.
You know, he had an interesting comment yesterday that he said when they asked about the Pistons and trying to win a title. He says, we know our time is running thin. Now, they've been to the conference finals now the previous 5 years, but the last 2 they got beat, Miami and Cleveland. They always felt they were the better team. And even Flip Saunders was saying, hey, we don't start advancing. You don't want people talking about this team maybe underachieving because they have the ability to be the best in the East. As that's the second foul on Garnett.
And you make a good point because you never know how many more opportunities you're going to get to have a legitimate chance to win it all. When you have that opportunity, you have to maximize the moment.
Brown doesn't like the call, but Garnett will stay in the game with 2 fouls and 6:12 remaining in the second. It was before the shot, putting both hands on. I think that's the Joey Crawford call. Our officiating crew tonight, Joey Crawford, Greg Willard, and Mark Wunderlich. One-point game as we approach the midway point of the second. Pistons, meanwhile, have been to the line. This will be their 13th free throw attempt. And there you see the Celtics only 1.
Just too many right there. Garnett in the penalty. He's got to cushion Wallace a little bit more. Obviously, he wants to take away Wallace's strength, which is his jump shot. So he wants to crowd him. But in the penalty, you got to make him make one of those shots before you get up that tight on him.
He's got the last 6 points for the Pistons. Wallace, a great defender. And he's called for a reach-in foul. He gives Joey Crawford a pat on the butt. No, he did not lead the NBA in technicals this year. That belonged to Kobe Bryant. He finished 3rd in that department. Flip Saunders felt, as you see the expression, that this was one of Wallace's better years in terms of focus all year. Garnett misses because he really took the young bench players under his wing. He was kind of, Flip Saunders called him the mother goose. And he felt that that kept them focused more, and he really helped the development of the young players. They always talk about what a great teammate he is. And right now, his team is tied. Ray Allen's a 7-time All-Star, has always been the main man. This year, his numbers down because he had to take a lesser role, as they all sacrifice their game, but he's really struggling right now, and that's part of our Gatorade Cooler Talk, Mark.
I remember my college coach, Coach Connor Secca at St. John's University, said if you put the time in before the curtains open up, all by yourself in the gym, when the lights are on, you'll get it done. Ray Allen struggling from the field, not able to knock down that jump shot, but attacking the basket, getting some easy basket opportunities. If you build it, it will come. Trust your game, Ray.
Ooh, it's a little movie reference. You're a big baseball guy. Of course, last night you were at Fenway Park with our man Jeff watching John Lester's no-hitter.
What do you mean? You were there also.
Yeah, I know.
So it's so soft. 7th inning went for the hot chocolate with marshmallows instead of just toughing it out like I did in the cold.
Unbelievable witnessing the no-hitter. And this guy, people may not believe it, but actually had the hotel bellman's trench coat on at Fenway Park. Jeff Van Gundy, you're better than that.
Thank you, Chris, at the Liberty Hotel.
Pierce, Garnett. Garnett short that time, and Wallace the rebound. Of course, the most embarrassing moment was late when Lester, anytime he threw a ball, you're screaming at the ref, at the umpire, saying, "You're squeezing him, Blue, you're squeezing him."
He was, too.
He made a scene. Wallace in and out. And Garnett, another rebound.
And they've switched Kendrick Perkins onto Wallace because of Garnett's 2 fouls.
Stuckey and Hunter, the backup guards right now in there for the Pistons. Ray Allen, excellent defense from the rookie. But then a foul, a reach-in called on Hunter. So it's been a big couple of nights for the Boston sports fan. And there you are in
Look
your
at that.
coat.
That's Chris's jacket. Are you kidding me?
Even buttoned on the inside.
Again, just to clarify, as Lester put on quite a show, What an emotional game that was. You know, there are no hitters, but what he's been through as a cancer survivor just was a spectacular night there. Such an emotional evening.
And just to think, we were about to leave in the 6th inning.
To go watch the Spurs-Hornets game. As the ball blocked, but a foul.
Oh, you're talking about who's better than that. You better be better than that. Dodgers, Mets. Do you know you're a confused young man?
No. Dodgers jacket. I live in L.A. I had a Mets hat, and I'm actually a Yankee fan. So I had a lady roll her eyes at me when we were leaving.
Well, wouldn't you? I mean, my gosh. You throw the Yankees under the bus just because they're struggling, so now you're a Met fan?
No. I'm a Yankee fan. Don't start any trouble, man. A-Rod is back.
A-Rod is back. They're like, they got bombed again tonight, or they were getting bombed. Come on now.
You've wanted to analyze baseball for a long time.
I just want to say, like, talk about pitch. I don't know how they know what pitch it is when it comes in there.
What were you most impressed with Lester?
What was I most impressed with?
Location, what?
Yeah, the location of his cutter. I love that talk. I love baseball talk. Like when John Miller and Joe Morgan talk baseball, I love that.
1-point lead for the Celtics. Just under 5 to play here in the second. Stuckey sees an opening, goes hard, blocked, but a foul. Perkins got the ball, but also apparently got the arm. And this impressive rookie, so strong, will go to the line.
They like what the Pistons are doing. They recognize that the Celtics are in the penalty. So why not continue to attack? Stuckey does a good job of putting his head down, continue to put the pressure on the Celtic base. Takes it to the body, gets the basketball on a block shot, but underneath, Stuckey going to the line because of his aggressiveness.
Thanks for that analysis. Mike Breen apologizing for another blown call. Oh, no, that was Mark Jackson.
Oh, you didn't?
I'm sorry.
Watch the left arm. Bang, right there. That's a foul. Come on.
Come on. You could call that every trip. I like what Kendrick Perkins is doing tonight. He's on the board. He's aggressive. But I also like what Flip Saunders has done. They're playing 2-point guards together, Stuckey and Billups. Either guy can run the pick and roll.
This guy Stuckey, 6'5", 205, and appears fearless as the foul's call on Theo Ratliff. Another late signee, a veteran, back with the Pistons again. He picks up his second. Ratliff is 35 years old, former NBA shot block leader.
How about the crowd sarcastically clapping after Ray Allen knocks down a jump shot after the whistle was blown?
Well, Allen is in his struggles. It's been a hot topic in the papers, on the talk shows. Took about 400 shots after practice yesterday. Was the first guy out here again today, trying to work his way through it.
I'll tell you what, though, if I played with him, I'd be in his air right now. I'd be his hype man. Hey, you're Jesus Shuttleworth, and he's got game. You're Ray Allen, one of the greatest shooters in the history of this game. Step up your game and knock down open shot. You have to begin to talk to guys and be in the air. Be a hype man.
Garnett hits the second. Celtics just 2 of 5 from the free throw line.
And this is difficult cover for Ray Allen. He doesn't negotiate as many pick and rolls as point guards normally do.
Rondo on Billups. Rondo falls. Billups lost control. Shot clock at 3. Wallace to Prince. Nice fake. Open 3. Puts it in as the shot clock expires. Terrific poise from Prince.
Took a look at the shot clock, realized he had time to pump fake Pierce. Winds up with an open look.
And the Pistons, after trailing early by 8, now lead by 3. Garnett draws the foul. And he'll shoot 2. 2 fouls on Rasheed Wallace.
Clock's winding down. Rasheed Wallace, good job, extra pass. And like Mike said, really good poise to shot fake, let Pierce go by, regather, and get it off just in the nick of time.
Tayshaun Prince is just so durable. He's out there every night, hasn't missed a game in 5 years. He's played in more playoff games in his first 6 years of his career than any player in NBA history. Now, granted, now because the first round is 7 games. They play more. But for a young guy, he has so much experience. He's been in the conference finals every year in the NBA. He's a little spoiled. Yeah, look at the road numbers he's had. But a clutch performer. Again, to me, one of the most underrated players in the game.
Well, he's had an outstanding run, and what you love most about this young man is the way that he gets it done on both ends of the floor. He starts defensively and never, ever quits. Competes to the end.
And one of the most humble players in the league. Pierce is on him. Pierce, of course, did that fabulous job on LeBron James, although until Game 7 when they both erupted, and Prince dumps it in. He can shoot the 3. He can post up.
He's an underrated post-up player because he takes high percentage plays, makes big-time moves.
Garnett against McDyess now. Wallace with the 2 fouls is off him. Pierce up and under. Pass inside, deflected. But it's last touch by Boston.
You know, if you're defending Tayshaun Prince and he makes this move, you think that's a garbage move. That's a tough shot. He's not going to make that. But the guy has proven, ask the Orlando Magic why they're home. That is a patented shot for Tayshaun Prince.
There's Phillips. Under 3 to play here in the first half. McDyess. Prince steps back. That won't go. Rondo. Allen on the drive. Nobody wants to shoot right now. Perkins takes his time and banks it in. His first field goal, he has 8 rebounds, but he's come to play in the early going.
After that great early start by the Celtics, their offense has pretty much been out of sync. But a big-time move and great patience by Perkins.
Well, we certainly saw in the Cleveland series, they'd have some tough stretches offensively. Rondo with the steal, but couldn't hold on. And we'll have a timeout. Pistons with a 2-point lead. Tayshaun Prince doing a little bit of everything.
Well, that's what he brings. He brings versatility, consistency, and durability. Here, again, the 3 with the shot clock winding down. And then the post-up, the herky-jerky to his left-hand jump hook from about 10 feet. A very, very solid player in all facets of the game.
Stewart Dax, near late second quarter. 2-point lead for Detroit. Tayshaun Prince and Paul Pierce each with 9. Those are the guys you'll see in the Toyota halftime show. Stewart, John Barry, and Michael Wilbon. Talk about the draft lottery. Also, set up the Western Conference Finals and a first half analysis here in the East. Once again, the team with the worst record does not get the #1 pick. It's only happened 3 times in 19 years. Hard to believe. Chicago getting the top pick. We've seen earlier on ESPN. Pierce to the basket. Nice play by Wallace to avoid picking up another foul, yet altering the shot. Allen on Prince. Bad pass stolen by Rondo. Rondo, good hands tonight. Back to Garnett. And Garnett up and in. Rondo looked like he had a layup. He still got a layup for a teammate.
Well, you got to like how active Rondo is on the defensive end, and that's where it starts for him. Have an impact on the ball game defensively first.
He also has 4 assists. Coming up on a minute remaining. And what we expected, a low-scoring game. Stuckey. Too strong. And Rondo, who once had 19 rebounds in the game at Kentucky, and for his size, one of the better rebounding guards, grabs another one. He had 8 rebounds in Game 7 on Sunday against Cleveland. Garnett, wide open, puts it in. 14 for Garnett. Celtics back up by 2.
But once again, it's off of the play of Paul Pierce. Spectacular decision-making, getting the ball to KG.
Flip Saunders will use his 22nd timeout here in the first half, as the Celtics have scored 6 in a row.
We saw Pierce in Game 7 be spectacular, getting his own offense. Well, tonight it's all about making plays for other guys. Penetration and pitch to KG knocks down the top of the key jumper.
Back in Boston, we wind down the first half. Bill Belichick sitting in the second row here at the new Garden, TD Bank North Garden. And actor Rob Lowe amongst those in attendance. It's a hot ticket, another sellout. Celtics during the regular season, 35-6 at home and 8-0 so far in the postseason, including 2 Game 7 victories. Phillips puts it up, and he got hit. They call it on Rondo. That will be his second.
And Billups has a way of drawing fouls on jump shots with how he contortions his body and he kicks his leg out. Here, he comes off tight. Rondo slips and gets under him, but he has a very unique way of doing that on jump shots. Most guys don't get foul calls unless they go to the basket.
Chauncey Billups, who had a long journey in the NBA before he finally got to the Pistons when he played for 5 teams in his first 4 years, and it all started here in Boston. He was their first-round pick back in '97, the 3rd overall selection, but only played a half year with the Celtics. See only 51 games. Bounced around Toronto, Denver, Orlando, Minnesota with Flip Saunders for a couple of years. And now in his 6th year with Detroit, and he's become a perennial all-star.
And you see both coaches right now playing chess. 23.7 seconds to go in this half. Flip Saunders goes small defensively. Doc Rivers inserts Eddie House, offensive end, for Paul Pierce to spread the floor and make a play.
Phillips also one of the best free throw shooters in the game today. Goes 1 of 2 this time. Shot clock turned off as we finish up the first half. Crowd getting on its feet. Prince on Pierce. Pierce goes left. Nice feed to Rondo. Oh, tried to jam it. Won't go. And there's the buzzer ending the second period. Paul Pierce that time finding his teammate, but the Celtics unable to finish it. Kevin Garnett, meanwhile, leading all scorers with 14. Pierce was versatile for the Celtics. Meanwhile, Mr. Versatility for Detroit is Tayshaun Prince, Jeff.
And very consistent in his game. He knows his game. He accepts what he can do. He stays away from what he can't do, which is very little. Here against the bigger Perkins, who spaces him. He gets the jump shot. Very rare for a 6'10 small forward to be able to run a pick and roll. And then the poise to watch the shot clock and get what he wants. And the same thing in the post. He's got an uncanny, unorthodox left-hand jump hook. He's just solid and rock steady.
The third quarter underway. All 10 had started. Start the second half as well. Meanwhile, the Ray Allen update. Allen 3 of 7 from the field. He had 6 points. Had some good drives to the basket, but missed some open jumpers. Still trying to find his rhythm offensively. And a turnover for Prince to start. That's the 5th turnover for Detroit. Our AT&T first half stats. Shooting numbers for Boston, very impressive. Free throw attempts for Detroit, very impressive. 16 assists on 19 field goals for the Celtics. That means good ball movement.
That means you're playing at home. Good scorekeeper, taking care of his guys.
Rondo. Heard Doc Rivers saying he wants his team to continue to attack. They started that way, but then stopped. Hamilton, quick shot. And the Pistons up 1.
Can't happen. The one Piston back on the offensive end was Hamilton. If you're the Celtics, you got to get back and stay at home on the shoot.
Hamilton's first field goal. He's become the Pistons' all-time playoff scoring leader, passing Isaiah Thomas in the Orlando series as Ray Allen draws the foul. And he'll go to the line for 2 as we go to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, I spoke with Flip Saunders coming out of the locker room at halftime, and he said in the first half he feels his team rushed a few things offensively, but he really liked the fact that they were aggressive and got to the foul line as much as they did. He said we're in good shape right now. Anytime you're on the road and you're within one, as they were when they came out of the locker room, you got to be happy.
Thank you, Michelle. Meanwhile, Ray Allen to the line, where he's been fairly successful in the playoffs. He's 33 of 34.
Oh, a shooter like you would call that fairly successful.
He's always been one of the best in the NBA at that.
Think about it. He hasn't made a jump shot. It's been layups and free throws so far for him. And that's the way, as Mark pointed out earlier, you get off the schneid.
He had 2 big free throws in Game 7, even though he struggled shooting. Hamilton trying to back in. Garnett shuffles it out to Rondo. Good help defense from Wallace. Allen kicks it out. Rondo, nice feed. Had a shot, but found a better opportunity for his teammate.
And you hear a guy in the stands yelling, take the shot, Rondo. He's probably right, but good patience by Rondo. When you turn it down, you better make sure you get a better one. Found Garnett underneath.
5 assists for Rondo. Now also 3 fouls as he holds Phillips.
And that's exactly the type of play that Doc Rivers is talking about. Earlier in the first half, he got away with reaching from behind and deflected it. Here, a foul. They can ill afford to have him in foul trouble.
McDyess, nice fake, bad pass. Rondo weaving. Pierce steps up for 3. Celtics 0 for 3 from downtown. Still overall, they're shooting 50% from the field.
And in transition, on penetration, Rondo's not looking at the basket. He's looking for the pass, trying to get other guys involved.
Celtics have done a good job on Hamilton. Find some space there. And Hamilton with a couple of field goals here to begin the third. He scored big when Billups went out in the Orlando series. Billups missed 2 games. Hamilton had 32 and 31. And a whistle, defensive 3 seconds called against Detroit. So a 1-shot tactical for the Celtics.
And we're watching the Pistons struggling to score. Well, here's a guy that can score and score in bunches. Rip Hamilton turns it on, aggressive one-on-one move, knocks down the foul line jumper.
And that was a well-defended pick and roll by the Celtics. Hamilton did a good job. Could have been called maybe an offensive foul, lowering his shoulder, but he created separation. But that's, like you always say, good offense beats good defense.
Hamilton now 30 years old. And I'm naming a couple of all-star teams like Phillips. Those careers together. Pierce to the basket. Good hard drive. And Pierce now in double figures with 11.
And the difference is the Cleveland Cavaliers in the last series was trapping that pick and roll. Paul Pierce, good job of turning the corner, putting the pressure on the Pistons. If you're not going to trap, be determined to get all the way to the cup.
Prince looks up at the shot clock. Now he drives. Soft touch won't go. Perkins, 9 rebounds for Perkins.
I really like how Perkins has come out in this game, aggressive on the board and on the defensive end.
McDyess getting physical with Garnett. Garnett inside and draws the foul. Garnett will go to the free throw line. 2 on McDyess.
Well, this is just using the defender's aggression against him. McDyess up to take away the jump shot. Garnett puts it down. Does the old deadlift shrimp where he brings the ball up and under the defender's arm. Very intelligent offensive maneuver by Garnett.
Garnett, the game's leading scorer so far. Looking to extend the Celtics lead. Of course, we also mentioned about Garnett and Flip Saunders and their close relationship, playing with each other in Minnesota. Garnett also, while he was in Minnesota with the Timberwolves, one of his teammates was Chauncey Billups. Those two have been friends since they were in high school. Both came out of high school together. In fact, Garnett is Billups' second daughter's godfather. This summer when Garnett was talking about perhaps going to another team and there was a possibility of being traded to several different teams, Billups told him, go to Boston. Garnett said, well, what about the city? Billups told him, well, you don't go out anyway. It doesn't matter. McDyess hits a shot. Dyson's found the range with 12 points.
The Celtics have to be satisfied with the defense. That's a jump shot you will live with. You are not allowing the Pistons to get easy baskets.
Pierce to Garnett. Good open look for Garnett. Knocks it down. He's got 20.
Once again, Paul Pierce making plays on the offensive end. One time dribbles to the cup for himself. That time for KG.
Timeout, Detroit.
You single coverage KG on the block, you're going to pay the price. If you trap the pick and roll and leave him wide open, good read by Pierce. Mama, there goes that man. KG knocking down the jumper.
Garnett sent in game 7. We just gave the ball to Paul Pierce and got out of the way. Garnett an offensive force here in game 1 tonight. Plenty of memorable playoff meetings between these two teams. It's the 8th time they've met in the playoffs, 3rd time in the conference finals. Of course, 87 and 88. Celtics winning in 87, Pistons in 88. The battles between Lambeer and Bird, Parrish and Lambeer, McFilthy and McNasty, coined by the late, great Johnny Most. There have been some great battles. They haven't played each other since 2002. Those were some great battles back in the 80s between the Pistons and the Celtics. Wallace steps back, misses the 3. And Rondo and Pierce lost the rebound.
I'll tell you what, I'm watching Paul Pierce, not on the offensive end, on the defensive end. He is playing as good a defense the last month that he could possibly play. Just locked in and doing everything, whether it be individually or rotation, not making any mistakes.
A lot of the people here in Boston, including all the Celtics coaches, feel that Kevin Garnett's presence is a big part of that. Pierce told us that Garnett brought a renewed spirit to him and to this team. As the shot clock is down to 8, Phillips fumbling a bit, throws it away. 7th turnover for Detroit. 5 minutes gone by here in the 3rd. Celtics by 6. Their largest lead has been 8. And then a foul on Rip Hamilton. Hamilton is 2nd.
Well, we talk about Paul Pierce. Comes from guarding LeBron James and now Tayshaun Prince. Good job. Understands this guy's not going to beat me from three-point range, so I'm close enough to contest, and I'm disrupting the angle to throw the ball on the block to Rasheed Wallace. Good job of paying attention to detail.
He's just simply putting more effort in defensively, right?
Oh, he's buying in. The stakes have been raised, and here's a guy that's committed and understands I'm not just a scorer. In order to get the big prize, I got to do it defensively.
Garnett, tough shot as the 24-second clock was winding down, and this equals the largest lead of the game. 22 points in 24 minutes for Garnett. Good touch pass. Prince doesn't shoot it. Garnett right in his face, and Allen the weak side rebound. Allen on the drive, stripped. Nice save by Phillips, and a 2-on-1 the other way. Rondo pokes it away from behind. Another nice defensive play for Rondo, his 4th steal. Rondo. Pass deflects to Perkins, blocked by Wallace, but a foul. That will be his 3rd. And he's not happy with it.
That should have been a turnover by Rondo, but Randy Moss, tight hands by Kevin Garnett. Deflects the pass, keeps it in bounds, and then passes it off to Perkins.
The broken play turns in the favor of the Celtics.
Let's talk to Kevin Garnett. Catches it, able to look away to Perkins. Good job of getting set, looking to explode to the basket, gets the contact on Rasheed.
Although Rasheed Wallace looked like he had a beef on that one. As Perkins misses the first, we go to Michelle.
Well, guys, during the last timeout, Flip Saunders said to his team, offensively, we're getting into it with 12 seconds on the shot clock, and we don't know where we are. Get into your sets, swing the ball, and if you don't, we're never going to get open. Mike?
And Michelle, you see Wallace there, too, still hollering. He goes to the bench. They give him a lot of rope sometimes. There's some other players that you're screaming like that from the bench, you're going to get hit with a technical.
Yeah, he's built up their tolerance to yelling. So they're, they give him, like you said, more latitude.
Bad pass from McDyess. Another turnover. Uncharacteristic of these Pistons. Allen can't hit the three, and Maxiel the rebound.
But that's a great play by Rondo, searching out Ray Allen in transition and then putting it right on target.
But just like that, Hamilton comes back, knocks down his third field goal here of this period. And it's a 7-point game. Rondo tied up, stripped by Billups.
A bad play by Rondo to counter the last play. 1-on-4, pull it back out and run offense.
Garnett deflects it out of bounds. And thus you have your young player, your ups and downs, and Rondo proving it on those two possessions.
And you don't want to yell at him, but you got to talk to him in that situation. I'm trusting you. Reward my faith.
These two teams, again, the two best defensive teams in the East all season long. Two best records in the NBA during the regular season.
There's a lot of teams that would have given up that layup to Tayshaun Prince. This is a team that starts on the defensive end. Kevin Garnett's contest and does not allow the basket.
And Pierce draws the foul. That's the 15th foul for the Pistons. So they're in the penalty.
This is a team all season long. Nothing easy. Tayshaun Prince thinks he has a dunk. Kevin Garnett, the defensive player of the year, contests, airball, and then closes out by getting the rebound.
And at the risk of being redundant, I have not seen Paul Pierce run this many pick and rolls in his entire career in Boston. They are putting him in more pick and rolls. Earlier in his career, he was more turnover prone whenever there was congestion around, which is what the pick and roll brings many times. That time, again, turned the corner, used his strength to ward off Prince and got to the free throw line. Here he comes, attacks the show, turns the corner, lowers the shoulder a little bit to draw the contact and get to the free throw line.
Pierce misses the second. We talked so much about the 41 points in Game 7. Again, maybe the biggest play was on that jump ball where he was able to wrestle the ball away from LeBron James, get a key possession. He's even making those hustle plays now. McDyess with a hand in his face knocks it down. 14 points, 10 rebounds from McDyess.
But I think Pierce, if you don't have a chance to watch him or play against him, you underrate him as a competitor. He is a hard-nosed competitor who loves to play basketball.
He's not a highlight type of all-star. He's not the quickest guy, not the flashiest. Just gets the job done. Rondo, a little hop step, top shot, and he puts it in.
And once again, turns down the open look. I thought he should have taken it, but doesn't. If you turn it down, you better make sure you get a better one. And Rondo all the way to the basket.
B.J. Brown is in now for the Celtics. Maxiel gets it, blocked, but a foul. As Perkins will pick up his third. And one of the key bench players for the Pistons will go to the free throw line. Maxiel, who's become a big part of the team this year. His third year in the NBA. First-round pick out of Cincinnati. All 4 years of college. Kid from Chicago, born in Chicago, grew up in Texas. First year didn't play a lot. Last year started to play more. And this year, a very big part of the rotation. What an energy player he is.
Gotta love that. A big guy coming off your bench, able to impact the game off of energy, effort, and passion. Big-time finisher and can change shots in the paint defensively.
And on top of that, he builds model cars, I just saw. I mean, how many NBA players have their favorite hobby being building model cars? I want to see his collection.
You see the way he has performed this year. And that's, again, been a big part. Flip Saunders playing the young guys a lot during the regular season, not just to give the starters and the older veterans some rest, but more importantly, to get them experience so he wouldn't hesitate to use them in the playoffs. As Hamilton, nice steal, takes it away from Pierce, and then Prince can't hold on to a bad pass. How about this? Detroit, 4 turnovers in the first half, which is a norm for them. 6 turnovers in the third quarter.
And the last possession was the first one. They went to their 3-2 zone with Prince at the point. They're back in it again in this possession.
Pierce taking his time. Tough shot. Puts it in. Largest lead of the game. A 10-point advantage for the Celtics.
And the reason why you go to your 3-2 zone is because of the damage that Pierce is doing offensively, but continues to do it in spite of the zone.
Crowd gets on its feet. Hamilton, nice move to quiet the crowd. Constant motion, Richard Hamilton. And after a slow start from Hamilton, he's come up big. 8 points here in the third period. Perkins. Billups pulls up. Way off the mark. Chauncey Billups 1 of 4. And he said that his hamstring is fine. Start of the game. And Prince, what do they call it on Maxiel? They call it on Maxiel as Prince goes down hard. So Pierce bounces up.
I really don't know if it's possible for Paul Pierce to play any better. Really doing a great job of mixing it up for his own offense and making plays for other guys. As good as it gets, talk about strength, size, spin move on my hip, nothing but net.
He has 14 points, but also with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. 5 of the 20 Celtic assists. Just over 2.5 remaining. Third quarter of game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics lead by 8. Kevin Garnett, the game's leading scorer with 22 points. He's been aggressive right from the start, guys.
Really set the tone early, and often you talk about put him in pick-and-roll situations. If the trap comes, trust that the guy being defended by 5 guys will find the open man. Pierce finds KG, knocks down the jumper. Now, how about on the block? The dream shake, impossible to block this shot. I don't care who you are. Fades away, length, and ability to knock down the basket.
And you see the shot chart there. Good diversity in his game. Some in the paint, some jump shots. He's usually just a jump shooter. He's usually not attacking the basket as much as he has tonight. He's gotten to the basket. He's got 6 free throw attempts already. I like how he's mixed up his game this evening.
Garnett named the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year, but having a big offensive night. He was also named All-NBA First Team. First Celtic to get that since Bird. And a spectacular season, and all everybody talks about is how he changed the culture here for this team.
The thing I love about it is not a sometime thing. It's an all-the-time thing, and he started from day one. As soon as he became a Celtic, things changed.
And that goes for practice, too, not just the game. Look at Pierce diving on it, but Prince able to hold on and put it in. Nice play from Tayshaun Prince.
That's the second time tonight the Celtics have played great defense. The ball's come loose late in the shot clock, and the Pistons have found a way to get it back and get it in the basket.
Ray Allen to the basket, blocked by McDyess. McDyess having a terrific game. Hamilton stripped by Eddie House, and the steal. Eddie House, who lost his spot in the rotation when Sam Cassell was signed, has suddenly reappeared, has had some big games late in the Cleveland series, and a nice play there.
So McDyess on one end, big-time defensive play, and then Eddie House. Don't tell me what you can't do. Go out there and compete. Comes up with a big steal.
Pierce in and out, and Stuckey, who's reemerged. Stuckey 14 minutes in the first half. The rookie backup point guard. McDyess is fouled by Leon Poe. It'll be the 3rd team foul on the Celtics. First on Poe. Visit NBA.com. You can jump right into the 2008 Conference Finals now at NBAstore.com. Find the best selection of team jerseys, hats, T-shirts, and more. We're walking around the city today. A lot of Celtic jerseys. They are so fired up for the renaissance of the Boston Celtics as Stuckey is fouled. Meanwhile, the Pistons, year after year, here they are in the conference finals. Some new faces like Stuckey. Enabling the veterans to get some rest. But Stuckey he's very impressive.
Well, tough. We talk about his size, can knock down shots, also can post and get to the cup. Really is going to only get better. It's awfully impressive to see the impact that he's had in his first season.
Big-time scorer in college. Was 7th in the nation in scoring, almost 25 per game. And again from Eastern Washington. Just over a minute remaining here in the third. Celtics have led by as many as 10. Pistons' largest lead was 4. Stuckey on Pierce. Tough shot. Puts it in. Pierce now with 18. Half of them here in the third quarter. McDyess, he's been hitting that all night. Not that time. Eddie House the rebound. Pierce on the drive. Up and under. Pass to Brown. Brown puts it up. Back shot won't go. Leon Poe stripped and fouled.
Oh, but it starts with Paul Pierce putting so much pressure on your defense that guys collapse, and it allows second shot opportunities. The touch pass to P.J. Brown off of the help again. Excellent read, but your defense has collapsed. So Poe is in position to get the offensive board and the contact.
Now, that was not a strength of his when he came into the league. He came into the league as a scorer. He did not pass off the dribble well. He did not pass in traffic well. And that's when you love the game and you care about your own performance and your team performance, you will improve if you put the time in. And I have underrated. You said his numbers going up in the rafters, and I sort of disagreed with you earlier in the season that it wasn't a given. It's more than a given.
And it wasn't a given that he was going to remain with the Celtics. There was talk of him being traded. He even thought maybe he wouldn't be back this year. But everything turned out. Funny, he was telling us before the game he was thinking about the draft lottery from last year. As Hamilton misses. Hamilton gets it back. Hamilton puts it in. Remember, the Celtics, everybody hoping to get the first or second pick. They wound up with the 5th. And it turned out to be the best thing. Because they didn't get one of the key guys. It wasn't rebuilding. They made the trades as we wind down the third quarter.
It was really their best draft day ever, in my opinion.
Eddie House for 3. Bang! Largest lead of the game. Hamilton will not get it off in time. And that ends the third quarter. Eddie House, a huge spark off the bench. Meanwhile, Pierce and Garnett, a terrific, consistent game. Garnett, the game's leading scorer. Pierce falling away. Celtics now up by a dozen as we head to the fourth quarter of game 1.
Soul, passion.
Back in Boston, where the Celtics have stretched a 1-point halftime lead to a 12-point lead. Doc, what was essential during that run?
Well, pace. You know, Michelle, we started out the game. We had a great pace. We let their pressure get us to walk the ball up the floor, and now we reestablished the pace.
And so, finishing the fourth quarter, what do you want to see most?
Exactly that. We got to keep the pace, and we got to pressure them on defense.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you.
Mike?
Hi, Michelle, his team with a 12-point lead as we head to the fourth quarter, shooting 52% from the field after the big third period, and finally getting to the free throw line. Again, didn't get there much in the first half, but certainly did in that third period. But the turnovers so unlike the Pistons. They take care of the ball as well as anybody, with 7 turnovers in that third quarter.
Really a recipe for disaster if you're trying to win on the road against a quality team. You can't give them extra possession.
Hamilton, Stuckey, and Lindsey Hunter, 3 guards out there for the Pistons with Wallace and Maxiel. Now, you guys have watched Billups. He's played 25 minutes. It's hard to tell if a guy is hurt or is it just rust. He hasn't played in a couple of weeks, but he has not been as effective as we normally see Chauncey Billups.
No, and rhythm is affected by a layoff, but he can get it back here in the fourth quarter. He can get it back in the rest of the games in this series, but he certainly hasn't looked well from a playing standpoint in this first game.
I think if you flip Saunders, what you do instead of putting them in pick and roll situations early, you're probably better off putting them on the block than using them out of the post.
Eddie House the foul. There's Phillips with 4 points and 1 assist in 25 minutes.
And I like this, bringing back Kevin Garnett early in the fourth quarter for a more versatile offensive team. When you have Pierce out of the game and Allen as your only scorer when he's struggling so much, it's imperative to have another offensive player on the floor.
Pierce getting his rest. Wallace, hand in his face. Air ball. Rasheed Wallace just 1 of 6 from the field. And a hard foul set by Garnett. The pick knocking down Hunter. And Garnett picks up his third.
What Kevin Garnett is trying to do is get Lindsey Hunter off of the body of Eddie House. Certainly an offensive foul, but trying to do the right thing as a big man. If I'm Doc Rivers, I go to Paul Pierce very quickly, or Rondo, to try to get another ball handler on the floor.
Wallace backing in against P.J. Brown. And Brown with the foul. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to call sometimes. The way the offensive man is backing in, whacking, yet the defensive guy gets the call all the time on the foul on him.
Well, by rules, you have the right to hold a legal defensive position, and that offensive player can't knock you out of that position. Here, all the contact there is being started by Rasheed Wallace, and I agree with you, Mike. To me, that's either a no call or an offensive foul.
You can't put both hands on the player, so sometimes that's the reason. There's Garnett, got a piece of it. Maxiel the rebound, out to Hunter for 3. Knocks it down. Lindsey Hunter, clutch three-pointer, and it's a 9-point game.
Oh, he's a knockdown shooter. Those are shots that he was taking prior to the ball game. Driving, kick, spot up 3.
And it's still going to be Celtic ball. We mentioned Hunter. He's 37 years old in his 15th year in the league as Pierce is going to come back in. Hunter's still one of the best on-ball defenders. He's in amazing shape. Didn't play a lot this year, but now getting an opportunity. Won a championship with the Lakers and back in 2004 with the Pistons.
Well, they were developing Aaron Aflalo from UCLA, and then at some point, Flip Saunders said he didn't want to be going with 2 rookie guards, so he put Lindsey Hunter back in the rotation.
And they've got a foul on Richard Hamilton. Well, Hamilton picks up his third.
Oh, this is a play that James Worthy, the former Laker great, made so effective. Slashing, post-up position from the weak side, really putting so much pressure on the smaller defender.
Hamilton trying to get physical with Pierce. Nice pass, P.J. Brown. P.J. Brown has been a terrific factor for the Boston Celtics.
Well, you're only as good as the special offensive guys make you. That time, Paul Pierce again, decision-making on the block, takes the double team and finds Brown.
Wallace now 1 of 7. Garnett the rebound.
You look at Pierce. Get me the basketball. Get out of my way. The same offense that KG talked about in Game 7.
And Hamilton whacks Kevin Garnett. That's going to be Hamilton's 4th foul. Mark Wunderlich may have a different call. They're going to check. Nope, it's against Hamilton. Trying to fight through a screen. Brought up his right arm and hit Garnett in the face.
Well,
whoa. That's almost like throwing an elbow.
That's close. Not almost like it. That is. That's a dirty play by Rip Hamilton. Give Kevin Garnett credit. Said, Mr. Referee, you take care of it.
Hamilton is not that kind of player, but he was going after him there.
well, if he's not that type of player, why would he do it?
I mean his history.
Oh, okay.
Wallace with the steal. Nice play. Posey fouls him. Knocks him down. That's just a regular hard foul to prevent the layup. And Posey got in front of Wallace to make sure it wasn't a clear path foul. First on Posey.
All right, now we're talking Eastern Conference Finals here. Little elbow to the head, a little breakaway hard foul.
All of a sudden, you get perked up.
Oh.
Remind you of anything?
Yeah, how our Knick teams used to get beaten up.
Wallace getting serenaded by the Celtic fans. Chanting Wallace, trying to distract him, and he hits the first free throw.
That was a glancing blow to the side of Garnett's head, and then that's just a good, strong play by Posey, getting back, going after the ball, and making Rasheed Wallace earn it at the line.
Shades of Oakley and Mourning battling.
Oh, don't disrespect them like that.
I think now
that's a love tap right there.
So now all we need is you on one of these guys' legs.
Oh, now that's a cheap shot. Like I haven't heard that before. Come on, you're better than that.
Rondo alley-oop to Garnett, and he got fouled by Wallace. And Wallace knows it. So that's his third foul. Of course, this is just game one of this Eastern Conference Finals. Game two will be right back here in Boston. Our coverage will start 7:30 Eastern on Thursday. Kia NBA shoot-around. Tip-off shortly after 8:30. Pierce to Garnett. Back to Pierce. That's a three.
The Pistons have had a lot of trouble with the Garnett-Pierce pick and roll. I would start switching that with Prince and Rasheed Wallace.
Crowd wanted to travel. Hunter another three. And a good rebound from Maxiel. Chauncey Billups remains on the bench right now for Detroit. They're down 10 here in the fourth. Shot clock winding down. Wallace, his second field goal. That makes it an 8-point game.
And when he does inside pivot and squares up to the basket, as a big man, what we saw Kevin Garnett do earlier, you got to close that airspace and do not allow him to lift and shoot the jump.
Wallace and Garnett. Two terrific power forwards battling. Garnett flips it in. 24 for Kevin Garnett.
And usually when Garnett inside pivots like that, he shoots jump shots. That time he ripped it through and drove it middle.
This is looking to go right back to Wallace. Shot clock at 7. Lets it wind down. Shot clock at 3. Wallace knocks it down again. Back-to-back jumpers from Rasheed Wallace.
But once again, P.J. Brown backing up, giving airspace. You can't be afraid of him putting the ball on the floor. He's doing you a favor. Trust the help behind you.
And a reaching foul on Hunter. Fourth team foul on Detroit. As Hunter picks up his second. And we'll have a timeout.
These are big-time plays by Rasheed Wallace. Team needs some offense. Good job of staring down the defense. And your big man that can shoot the basketball will do you.
Wallace has been quiet offensively, but a couple of big buckets here in the fourth to keep the Pistons close.
ESPN's presentation of the...
Just over 4 minutes gone by, fourth quarter of game one. Celtics lead by 8. Doc Rivers trying to get his team that victory to get the first blood here in this series.
And we got to keep the pace. We got to keep the pace. All right? Go, 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 go.
That third quarter shot from Eddie House got him excited. Rivers said his influence is coaching. Mike Fratello, we played for in Atlanta, taught him about teaching. Pat Riley, who had played for him in New York, taught him about the will to win. And then Larry Brown, he played for in San Antonio, attention to detail. Took a little bit of everything. Now in his fourth year as head coach with the Celtics.
The thing I love about him is when he got his opportunity, he was more than ready. And certainly has paved the way for a lot of people.
Garnett, Posey, that's a three. And Wallace tracks it down. They're only 1 of 7 from downtown. And Eddie House was the only one to hit it. Right back to Wallace. Rondo tries to knock it away, and he does. I don't know if Wallace's man is fouled or his teammates didn't tell him he was coming. Pierce steps back. And Stuckey the rebound.
Well, Rasheed Wallace had a right to be upset. Stuckey didn't let Wallace know that Rondo was doubling from the blind side.
Posey, meanwhile, the steal. Rondo, Posey, Rondo, 2 points, 10-point lead. Celtic defense leading to their offense. Wallace again. Taking his time. Prince with 4 on the shot clock. Prince drives and puts it in.
That was a mistake by the Celtics defense. They stayed and tried to zone up Rasheed Wallace's post-up, but that led to a mismatch by Prince against Rondo on the kickout pass.
Rondo, give and go. Doesn't take the shot. And the Celtics reset. Pierce to Garnett. Posey, 5 on the shot clock. Posey losing it. Gonna have to put it up. Does so. Won't go. Wallace tips it to Hunter as Perkins gets knocked to the ground. Stuckey left open, and the rookie with a big bucket right there. Stuckey now with 9 points, and it's a 6-point game. Once again, the Pistons fighting back. We're just past the midway point of the fourth.
I don't know about you, but that young lady was sliding her feet in that first clip. She's bought into Celtics defense. I like that.
Does it remind you of me when I played for you?
Next subject, please.
Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Guys, you've heard a lot about pace, the word pace all night, and during that last timeout, Doc Rivers said once again, you're taking too long again to get the ball up the floor. Let's get back to our pace, and let's close this game out.
Rondo, Allen, Pierce, Garnett, Perkins. Starting 5 is in there right now for Boston. Garnett again. 26 for Garnett.
That's a set play coming out of the timeout. A lot of ball movement and man movement, getting Garnett on the block.
Billups is back in. He sat for a while, but Stuckey remains in the game. Hamilton now sitting. Wallace backs in. Short. Garnett the rebound. Excellent defense from Kendrick Perkins, who has had a very strong game tonight.
I agree. I think Perkins has played a very solid game at both ends.
Only 3 points as Rondo gets inside, misses, and Billups the rebound. Chauncey Billups and a blocking foul call on Ray Allen. That's his second. Celtics not in the penalty yet. That's their 14th foul.
Well, as Mark said, after timeout, a little cross screen, caught the ball with 1 foot in the paint. He's too long when he catches it that deep. You can do nothing about him going up to block the shot. That's good offense by the Celtics.
Both Garnett and Rasheed Wallace, they have such high releases on their shot, it's impossible to block.
And that was what was impressive about Perkins' last contest. He had an impact on Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, Billups beats Rondo, and the help defense was not there. And again, it's back to 6. You weren't looking at the scoreboard. You'd think Boston was up by a lot. The Pistons are right there with 4.5 to play. Garnett. Nice feed to Perkins, and Perkins puts it in, and a foul. Pretty pass from Garnett, and a chance for a 3-point play.
You talk about Perkins on both ends of the floor. One trip, a block shot, the other trip. Put yourself in position that when help comes, you're ready to catch and finish. Garnett makes the play. Perkins underneath takes the contact, knocks down the lane.
And that's also knowing your game. Perkins, if he would have taken that up on the strong side, most likely would have had that shot blocked or altered. Uses the rim to protect against the shot blocker. Very good use of the backboard and the rim.
Misses the free throw, however. Celtics have missed 7 free throws, same number as the Pistons. Although Detroit has taken 2 more attempts. 8-point game, little over 4 to play. Billups fires away. In and out, and in again. Chauncey Billups now with 8 points.
No, Doc Rivers said, hey, one guy we want to concentrate on down the stretch is Chauncey Billups. He is too good on the offensive end.
Ray Allen, dangerous pass. Pierce on the drive. Pierce, the pass, deflected and stolen. Here come the Pistons. Hamilton, as you see, back in the game. Wallace likes that three. Pierce tips it to Perkins. Steve Wallace can't get those threes to go down. Struggled at the end of the Orlando series.
And he should have reversed the ball on that one. One more pass or two more passes would have led to a better shot.
Pierce puts it up, puts it in. Lead back to 8. Flips on and says, play on. 20 points for Pierce, 26 for Garnett. Hamilton looking. Hamilton on the drive. Misses. He wanted a foul. 3 minutes remaining.
And you say, what offense do you want? Run down the stretch of a ball game, get it in your best player's hands, and trust that he's going to make a play. Now it's Pierce time.
Pierce. Dangerous pass, almost stolen. Garnett. Rondo a jumper. Knocks it down. 10-point lead. Timeout, Detroit.
Again, the best offense for the Celtics all night. Post Garnett, pick and roll, Pierce and Garnett. Here, Pierce gets a little separation, shoots over the long arm of the law of Tayshaun Prince. Really good pull-up.
Pierce and Garnett doing a lot of scoring, but they also have a combined 10 assists. Just over 2.5 remaining. Fourth quarter of game 1 of these Eastern Conference Finals. Paul Pierce and the Celtics back up by 10. Our GMC game track. 2 of the 3 All-Stars. Big offensive games. Kevin Garnett. Sensational performance offensively. He's dominated the matchup against Rasheed Wallace. And Paul Pierce, a little bit of everything. Again, they combined for 46 points, but also 10 assists between the two of them.
When your best players are unselfish, that approach, that mentality becomes contagious. Guys make the extra pass.
Rondo has battled Billups. Prince. Shot clock at 7. Prince, nice ball fake. That's a 2-pointer. Can't get it to fall. Rasheed Wallace lost the rebound and gets it out to Billups. Hamilton to the basket, drives hard, and he gets fouled. Well, Rip Hamilton will return to the line. So free throws coming up for Hamilton. Again, the balance. Billups does not look like himself. The usual balance the rest, but the Celtic defense has made it difficult.
You can't underestimate the impact of this great Celtic defense has had on the Pistons. They have taken everybody out of their individual comfort zone and the team out of what they do best.
What I love about it is you got a guy like Ray Allen that's struggling offensively, but has a commitment on the defensive end to really limit the damage that Rip Hamilton is able to do tonight.
8-point game as we approach 2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes to play in the quarter.
Rondo on the drive. Kicks it out to Allen. Shot clock at 5. Back to Rondo. 3-pointer. Bang! 11-point lead with 1:45 remaining. And a foul on Garnett. Bad foul. Because they're in the penalty. And now free throws coming up for Chauncey Billups.
But let's give Rondo a lot of credit. Not only We said before the series that he had to try to make it even with Billups in the matchup. He's dominated the matchup tonight. Here, great extra pass by Ray Allen to trust Rondo and to knock in an unlikely three-point shot.
And a good, solid game for Rondo. He was aggressive in the opening minutes. Helped setting a tone. And against the Billups, who he has struggled with during the regular season in their matchups. A reminder, NBA calendar. Tomorrow night on TNT. The Western Conference Finals begin from L.A. Lakers hosting the Spurs. Coverage begins at 9 Eastern. And Saturday on ABC, Game 3 of this series when it moves to Detroit on the Palace.
How about the Spurs having to sleep on their plane last night after that great victory? Mechanical problem.
Minute and a half remaining here in the fourth. 10-point lead for Boston. Pierce pulls up. Wallace the rebound.
I thought a bad read, the first bad read for Paul Pierce all game long. Rondo wide open in the corner, make the extra pass.
McDyess in and out. That one halfway down. Hamilton the rebound. Hamilton pulls up. Garnett with his 9th board. And with a minute to go, the Celtics holding on to a 10-point lead and on the verge of taking game 1. Pierce pulls up. It's good. And that may do it.
Oh, we talked to Paul Pierce. He says, hey, I feel like anytime I have the basketball, I have an advantage.
Wallace way off on the 3. And the Boston Celtics are going to take game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals and stay perfect at home in the playoffs. Now 9-0 here at the New Garden. Just a couple of days after their emotional win in Game 7. They came out emotional again in Game 1 as Pierce misses. What a terrific way to start for the Boston Celtics. Celtics draw first blood here in these Eastern Conference Finals. Garnett with 26. That matchup, and it's a big one in this series between Rasheed Wallace and Kevin Garnett, clearly dominated tonight by Garnett.
Well, Garnett was outstanding offensively, establishing a paint game and also establishing an unselfish game along with